Half of the energy in the world goes into electric motors. So how do we make every watt of energy and electricity worthwhile?
Climate change is the biggest challenge of our time, and we need to do everything in our power to reverse it.
If we could replace every motor in the world with our technology, we could cut 25% of carbon emissions.
We have done something incredible that many considered impossible until now.
You start to look at this as a product that can save hundreds of thousands of lives and hundreds of millions of tons of CO2 going into the atmosphere.
It would be the carbon equivalent of giving the world 7 new Amazon rainforests.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of Realcomm Live. We're going to do something a little different today. Instead of having our normal, phenomenal, extraordinary guests talk about all the topics that are impacting the real estate industry as it relates to technology, we're going to talk a little bit about our upcoming conference. We've been planning it since January. There is so much going on. I'm sure you've got some of our communications on it, but there's actually too much information. I mean, we'd have to send out 10 emails a day to tell you everything about what's going on. So we thought we would just bring on my two other partners, Howard and Lisa, and we would chat about the conference informally, tell you a little bit about what's going on, because frankly, there's a lot. So with that, why don't we bring on Lisa and I? Hey, how are you today?
Hey, Jim.
Hey, Jim.
We are live.
We are live. And we have one more episode next week before we pack up and head to Scottsdale, of which the Realcomm live stage will actually be a stage on the exhibit floor, which we're going to talk a little bit. And we'll be bringing 2.5 days, I think, of live programming to actually 2 days of live programming nonstop. And so instead of just a half hour a week, next Tuesday and Wednesday, the second and third, there'll be nonstop programming, so you're going to be able to see lots of great things. So before we get started, if it's okay with the two of you, I'm going to just take the audience. I got a few slides. I'm going to take them through some of the basics, and then and feel free to jump in. We're gonna leave us all on as I'm going through this, but I want to get through the first section quickly, and then we can dive into the meat. Is that okay?
Sure.
All right. So. First of all, Realcomm IBcon 23rd year. I didn't have gray hair when we started this, so it's been a pretty phenomenal 23 years. November 2nd, 3rd. We chose Phoenix, Scottsdale area very specifically. Remember, so we were doing this event, started planning in January. We had no idea what November would look like. Delta, up, down, vaccines. We didn't know where the world would be, so we intentionally planned for it to be smaller. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later as well. But we chose a resort, not a convention center or a hotel. We wanted someplace we could have a little bit more control of. And we wanted it to be in a warm climate. And we wanted it to be someplace where we could experiment with the indoor-outdoor experience as it relates to an event. Because P.S., malls, offices, mixed-use facilities, they're all going to have to deal with this stuff. As you can see, it's a beautiful facility. And our golf tournament this year, they don't have to get in a car or a bus to get to the golf course. It's right here. And then honing in, this is going to be the area of the resort we're going to own, if you will. Lisa, give us a little update on what we're doing with these outdoor exhibitors. I think people will find that interesting.
Yeah, for the first time ever, we've got some really unique exhibit spaces, really experience spaces more than just booths. We knew going in that we were going to have a smaller footprint, and so we've got 3 different types of exhibit space this year at the conference. One is the traditional ballroom, inside the ballroom where the Realcomm Live stage is, and where your traditional booths are set up. And then we've got foyer area, which, you know, we've had in the past. We've had booths out in the foyer when we were a little restricted on space. But this year we've got some really interesting outdoor spaces out on that terrace that you've got in the shot, and some you know, great spaces to look out over the property, see the great golf course. And a lot of these exhibitors are doing really interesting things inside their exhibit spaces. I know one exhibitor is bringing in a margarita machine to you know, to be able to serve margaritas, you know, during the afternoon. Another is setting up a nice video wall, nice comfortable lounge chairs, and, you know, big umbrellas, and it's just going to be something really different and interesting and really creative to kind of get people to you know, into that kind of that casual environment and really to sit and have a conversation
Well,
and
and
enjoy a nice area.
isn't this what everybody's telling the built environment they want? Experiences, a little more indoor, even before COVID, indoor, outdoor.
Right.
And so instead of being, you know, just having the option of being in that exhibit floor all day, why not go out on the patio, look at the golf course, sit down with a client or prospect, have a good conversation in a more experiential environment? And so
Right.
Realcomm has always walked the walk, not just talk the talk, right?
Yep.
And so we said COVID, all right, maybe let's use COVID as the excuse, but I think in the future we're going to explore and experiment more and more with this kind of stuff.
I know it takes advantage of that nice fresh air and goes into our theme of health and wellness. I think it fits very nicely into what we're.
And I hear we have an exhibitor kind of coming in from Australia, but not coming in from Australia. What's up with that?
Yeah, we do. We've got a virtual exhibitor that is sort of flipped on its head. So instead of the attendees coming in virtually and having a virtual exhibitor on a virtual platform, we actually have one of our longstanding sponsors, Bueno, that is unable to travel to the conference, but they've been a big sponsor of ours for the last couple of years, and they still wanted to be a part of it and participate. So we're bringing them in as the exhibitor coming in virtually and setting up a spot for them to be able to engage with our on-site attendees. And I just think it's really
cool. Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, to me, everybody says, yeah, we just want to get back to normal. I don't think we ever go back to normal. Hybrid is here to stay. And we're gonna have a lot of conversations at the conference about, well, no, we're just gonna go back to the old office. No, we're not. Okay, we're going back to the old mall. No, we're not. So we've got 4 hybrid events under our belt. So we've learned a lot. And forget COVID. There will be times a vendor can't make it in from Australia. What do? They just send their booth, right? And and these booths are going to get better, more engaging, more interesting. And how about this? You've got your booth personnel at the show. The head of a real estate company comes walking up. He wants to spend $10 million with you, but he wants to talk to the CEO. The CEO didn't happen to come to the show. If you have these kind of accommodations in your booth, you click a button and this guy goes off to the side, and who's he talking to? Oh, and P.S. now we need the director of IT, or we need the head of programming. I mean, I predict there's going to be a whole new industry built on the concept of virtual experiences inside exhibit floors. All right, one more thing. Let's flip it around again. I hear people from the outside can come and visit with people on the exhibit floor. What's that all about?
Yeah, so we are setting it up for all of those folks that can't come to the conference this year and be in-person attendees, so that they can still interact and engage and have some conversation with our exhibitors. So we're setting up a virtual portal or a virtual platform of sorts, so that they can come in and actually click a button and engage with someone in the booth or someone even back in the office, and make it really easy. You know, somebody in the booth is already engaged, already talking to somebody that's standing there, and they're, you know, already tied up. Then somebody in the office can pick up that call, and they will be automatically connected to a Teams meeting, and they can have a conversation and talk and really, you know, have outside opportunities, people that are not even there at the conference.
Well, and when people say hybrid virtual experiences, what they don't understand is there's about 100 items on the menu, and there's all these different things you can do. And we've now got about 18, almost 24 months of experience now, and I'm telling you, it's just a kick trying to figure this stuff out. And everybody complained during COVID that the online conferences didn't work, and I agree, it was hard to get engagement. But that doesn't mean we should stop trying, okay? Because again, you get X number of people who come to an event, but P.S. they leave departments back at their offices because they can't afford to send 20 people, right? How do we get the head of the department, to come to the conference and engage and do all the networking? But how do we engage the other 20 people that are still back at the office? They should not have to be reliant on those 1, 2, 3 people to come back and debrief them. They should be able to participate in the conference as well. And that's what we're trying to figure out.
And I would add that, we are this is primarily an in-person event. So this, it is not, we're in no way saying that this is going to be a virtual event, but it's going to have some hybrid and virtual components that are unique. And I think we're kind of constructing them in a way that some, key portions of the conference can be shared by everyone. Well,
and I want to really make the point. We're not doing this just because we want to play around with technology or we think it's cool. At least I believe that everybody who owns, operates, services a building is going to need to understand how to integrate the online virtual world with the physical world. We hear about, Zuckerberg building metaverse, right? He wants to create this whole new virtual world. I'm not sure I agree with that. But in the meantime, until we get to the metaverse, we have to figure out how to bring that person who's in another office, not just on a screen and video conferencing on the wall, but teleportation, all these crazy new ideas, which by the way aren't new. That plate and understand what a fastball looks like.
That's how you move forward. I mean, you just got to keep trying.
Well, do you remember Denver last year at this time? It was 8 o'clock in the morning. At 7:59, we did not know if that platform was going to work.
That was truly horrid.
That was truly horrid.
I don't know, Jim. I tried to block that out because that was truly
probably one of the worst moments of my life.
But guess what?
It
worked. It worked. And for 2.5, 3 days, we sent more good streaming content into virtual rooms and studios. I mean, I don't even remember everything we did, but boy, did we learn a lot. And by, I think it was by Austin Howard, we finally said, I think we know what we're doing now. Maybe it's starting to make some sense.
We're always pushing the envelope a little.
We are.
And there was always that moment of doubt. I don't care where it was, that moment of doubt. Is this going to work today?
Well, and just to be clear for everybody, the day of the conference, when you go to our website, realcomm.com, on the left side, there will be streaming from Realcomm Live, nonstop speakers from the conference. And then right to the right of it will be what Lisa explained is the virtual exhibit floor. So anybody who's on that exhibit floor will have a little button next to their name. You can read up about them, look at their profile, go visit their LinkedIn page. But if you want to talk to them, you're going to click a button. And if they've signed up for it, you go right into their booth and you're going to be talking to a representative live via video conferencing sitting on that exhibit floor. We're pretty excited. Yeah, and let's see if anybody takes us up on it.
Yeah.
All right, so let's keep going. This is the floor plan, as we said, smaller by design, something we think we can manage with coming out of a pandemic. We've got, and P.S., just a little learning point. We believe you make good use of space and technology. So usually we set up a general session room and we have to spend all sorts of money on the technology for 3 hours. Well, that's not good. I mean, just like an office, no efficiency, and so like an office owner would set up a use of a technology, that maybe only gets used a few hours a day. That's not good. So what we did was we set up 3 rooms as session rooms, all have beautiful technology in it. And for the opening session where we need more seats, we just roll back the walls. When the event's over, we close the walls and we have 3 nice rooms. That, my friends, is the perfect utilization and balance of real estate, space, and technology.
Kind of reminds me of what we did in Nashville with the Schermerhorn. Remember?
That's right.
With the what?
Yeah.
With the Schermerhorn, where we
Yes.
used it for the general session, and then all of the seats went down into the basement on that automated robotic thing, and then it became a reception floor.
I hope these things aren't lost on our audience, because, I mean, at first it's, oh, that's cool, but if you think about office spaces, at pre-pandemic, 35% utilization, pandemic, less than 10% utilization. We've got to figure out how to use that space better and longer, all day, all night long. That's the way we get out of this carbon mess. That's the way we get out of long commutes. That's the way we get out of wasted time and all the expense of, as we wrote about a couple weeks ago, heating and air conditioning buildings during a pandemic when nobody was in them. Energy bill stayed the same. That makes no sense. We just have to reshuffle how we do things a little bit, and I think we can have high impact. All right, going back to the space, beautiful. Weston, known for health and wellness. They were serving green smoothies 15 years ago, long before anybody. A lot of the spaces that we'll be meeting in will have open doors. You can go in and out, have your meeting. And P.S., I'm seeing buildings in Manhattan, new designs now with patios all the way up the side of those buildings, terraces, plants. You know, people like to be outdoors. They like fresh air. And the fact that in our careers, we go into buildings for 35-year careers and we're inside air conditioning, I think that's going to change. And we're trying to lead the way. We don't know the answers. We're just trying to figure them out. And P.S., going back to this one, I've been lobbying at convention centers and hotels. I want the rear wall of every single one of our session rooms to show sunlight, because it has been shown that sunlight's healthy and gets people energy. All right, some beautiful outdoor spaces. We're gonna, people hold meetings, grab some clients, or a couple of your peers and go out and have some conversations. All sorts of. These are within 2-minute walks of where we're going to be. All right, let's hold there. When we come back from our break, we're gonna talk about our COVID protocols. And just like we always do, we're not gonna leave it at that. We're gonna push the envelope on making sure, or trying to make sure, that we have a very healthy environment for this event. So let's hear from one of our sponsors and we'll be right back.
Your company mitigates many types of risk, but there's one critical risk you can't avoid: the networks running your base building systems. Every day, vendors and engineers connect to your building system networks with little or no security, making them extremely vulnerable to cyber attacks. Hackers can shut down these systems and force ransom payments, or jump over to your corporate network and engage in password and identity theft. Each new solution you add only causes the security risk to grow exponentially. The Intelligent Riser eliminates risk by putting building systems on a secure network completely separate from the building's corporate network. Then, vendors, building engineering, and building management are given secure access to the systems they need, while keeping hackers out. And the network is monitored and maintained 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, to ensure all building systems are secure, up, and running. All future solutions can now be connected to the Intelligent Riser, saving cabling and implementation CapEx and OpEx. Intelligent Riser, the smart building platform.
Boy, it is amazing to see how our industry's changed 10 years. That last commercial, I remember coming back from Dubai on a plane 15 years ago, talking about conceptually what that would look like. And here it is, we got full-on companies. Howard, do you remember those early trips when the PowerPoints where we were designing what that Intelligent Riser would look like? And now we see a commercial like that.
Oh yeah, we've come a long way.
Come a long way, yeah. So let's go into COVID and what we're doing to try to keep, in addition to the facility and everything we've done so far, our COVID health protocols will be proof of vaccination or negative test. But being Realcomm and IBcon, we don't like to just stay at status quo. We're going to go one more, and this is actually a learning lesson that started in Denver. So Howard, I'm going to turn it over to you. Tell us what the heck is going on with our COVID tech, IAQ lab, and all the technologies we're bringing to actually use at the conference.
So Jim mentioned, we started this back in Denver last year, and brought in a number of different COVID technologies to both as show and tell, but also to incorporate into our health screening and maintenance and IAQ protocols. So we're continuing with that this year. We have a number of different technologies that we're both incorporating as part of our screening IAQ protocols and sanitization protocols, but also we'll be demonstrating these technologies. So, for instance, when we'll be using a crowd pass technology to actually manage the health screening, the vaccination, and the negative testing protocols for the registration and pre-screening process. Also in that pre-screening process, we're going to be bringing in a technology that you might have seen last year called Symptom Sense, which actually is this is going to be a kiosk this year that measures temperature, blood oxygen level, respiration, and heart rate, and uses an algorithm to determine if by chance you may be coming down with something. It can't determine what it is, whether it's a common cold or herpes, but it can tell you if something may be wrong. And we'll be using that informally, so people have the option to take advantage of that. We're going to have bipolar ionization throughout the conference, and that's going to be provided by Gallatin Air. We'll also be incorporating UVC robots, two flavors of UVC. Pulse UVC for actually sanitizing surfaces. That's the kind that's, you can't have that around humans, you do it after hours. We're also going to be incorporating smaller UVC 222 units that actively sanitize even in the presence of humans. We're going to have kind of an interesting presentation that's being put on by Car Properties. They developed a suite of products, sensors, monitoring solutions, air purifications, and they've actually put together a complete system with data flowing, visualization from all of these sensors. And they have actually created a platform which we're going to implement throughout the conference floor. Everyone will be able to see how it works and monitor air quality. This system actually has the ability to remove active microbes, including COVID.
I read that report a week or so ago from that Bio 3 lab in Costa Mesa, way over my pay grade, but it is amazing what that little device does. Absolutely amazing.
And I mean, these are all going to be devices that are available, again, demonstrating the technology, but actually incorporating it into our technology flow for indoor air quality. Now, part of this, we're going to set up a COVID Tech lab. We're going to have about 10 technologies on display on Tuesday and Wednesday for everybody to go in, speak to the principals in these companies, learn a little bit more about them, learn about the processes for incorporating them in your own organization. So I think that'll be
and I want to do a big shout out to Alon Zakar and his team at Car Properties. These guys are just hitting the pavement, working hard, gathering this stuff together, and willing to bring it all together and bring it to the conference to share with their peers in the community. So big shout out to Alon. And
they've been working tirelessly to
really
put this together. And what you're going to see from what they've put together, I think really represents the next generation of thinking.
Best practice by far. Best practice.
A lot of people have put up units, have put up little, IAQ sensors, and have put up these little cleaning units, but no one has cobbled together a full end-to-end system that actively manages.
All right, we got to keep moving because we haven't even gotten the program yet. So let me just keep moving on our slides. I mentioned PreCon, we're having a golf tournament. We're also hopefully going to have a surf competition, or if it's not a competition, a little a show. We've got one person committed so far, and hopefully we're going to find ourselves some more surfers. There's actually going to be a surf pool at the opening reception. And I'm not going to name his name in case he backs out, but we're hoping.
But you know him.
But you know him, yeah. And he knows how to surf. So
that might be the highlight of the conference.
That may be the highlight of the conference. Yeah. The goal here too is to bring a little laughter, a little smile. Laughing is good for you. It's healthy, right? We're hoping people leave here a little lighter than they came because it's been a tough couple of years. All right. Again, we chose a resort. Over to the left is a Macerich property, incredible, stunning property. 5-minute walk from the front door of the hotel. So at night, people don't have to get in cars and race all over. These are nice, quality restaurants, outdoor dining. It's just a wonderful place to go and walk and meander after the conference with clients and prospects and peers for a little late night conversation. Okay, Howard. Let me start on PreCon, and then you can take it. I'll get us to the middle of day, or the PreCon day, and then you can take it from there. So what we're calling our health and wellness day, we got a golf tournament. I think we're almost at 50, 55 golfers. That's the same as Nashville. This is a significantly smaller conference, and yet we still have the same number of golfers, which is a great thing. They're going to have a great time. We're also going to do health and wellness. We've got pickleball, we've got yoga, we've got hiking, we've got swimming. We got about 6, 7 different things. We're not sure people are going to take us up on it, but it's there for them if they want. And the whole idea is come early, enjoy the Phoenix desert sun, and hopefully leave the conference a little healthier than you got there. Then we may or may not, we're not sure, have a Halloween reception. Still working on that, but we start the PreCon day off with a huge important event, our cybersecurity forum. All the program has been helped put together by the Real Estate Cyber Consortium. It is the #1 commercial corporate real estate cyber forum in 2021, in 2020. This has been a premier forum for a number of years. Then we break for lunch. Then we go into a whole bunch of breakout private meetings. And Howard, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Yeah, we'll have from 2 to 6 in the afternoon. We have our breakout events, our annual CIO roundtable. We've been doing that since 2004. We have an event for executive leadership, CEO, COO, CFO, CAOs. We also have something for smart building integrators, the folks that actually cobble together smart buildings, master system integrators, MEPs, building facilities engineers, getting together to figure out the next generation of smart buildings. And then our traditional intelligent building boot camp that we've been doing for the last 9 years, which is Smart Buildings 101 for any organizations that are looking to embark on a smart building project. I can name the alumni list, includes Microsoft, GSA, Oracle, Coca-Cola, Time Warner, many, many others. I got their start there. And then we go into our welcome reception, and for our advisors, we have a special treat, a special event that evening. Then Wednesday is really day one of the conference. Start out with our general session. Exhibit floors opened all day, and we'll have exhibits, as Lisa had mentioned, in the main exhibit floor on the foyer, going out to the terrace. There's going to be some great areas to actually meet and convene. Sessions, smaller program, but by no means any
Still
less
huge.
powerful.
Still big. Yeah, and I don't mean to cut you off, Howard, but we're going to run out of time. Just a couple notes on that program. We were on a prep call with the opening session folks. We got 4 segments in the opening session. It is a serious conference. These are serious conversations. There are big changes coming, and we have got some brains on that stage. I was exhausted after the phone call this week, just talking about it. We only have that one segment, 35 minutes, 40 minutes. We were on an hour. We didn't even hit the tip of the iceberg. So between that opening session and the program that you and your team have put together, the content, again, is through the roof. These are true thought leaders, no hype, no BS. These are people rolling up their sleeves trying to figure it out. And I'm grateful for all those people who've helped you put together this year's program. All right, let's keep going. Real quick, we started hybrid in Denver last year. Then we went to Los Angeles, rented a studio, learned a lot more. Then we did Austin, and then we finished up 2 weeks ago in New York City. So we're bringing all of our hybrid experience to the event. We're going to be live from Realcomm Live on the exhibit floor, starting at the conference. And like I said, if you go to our website the day the conference starts, left side will be Realcomm Live, and the right side will be our virtual exhibit floor. All right. We're already over. Lisa, anything else? I mean, that's a half hour. We could have gone another half hour easily. Lisa,
easy.
Final thoughts about the conference. I know we missed a bunch. Final thoughts.
Yeah, just Digi Awards again this year, where we are really recognizing those thought leaders and those guys, those technologies and projects and individuals that are really pushing the envelope and doing some amazing things. We've just got a great show planned with a lot of great solution providers representing some very, some very important technologies. So,
and I want to do a shout out to all those sponsors and exhibitors who've been with us for years. And unfortunately, we had to say no this year. We stopped selling the exhibit floor about 6 weeks ago.
Yeah.
We sold it out for a lot of reasons. We wanted to keep the environment safe and healthy, but we also wanted to keep the mix of end users and vendors to a point where it was not overwhelmingly sponsored. So I just want to say thank you to our sponsor community for being with us for so long and understanding, and hopefully next year's a different situation. Howard, final thoughts?
I'd just say on Wednesday, we're going to traditionally do our Smart Building Best Practice Showcase. So we're going to have some projects there from around the globe that if you are, if you're whether a student or you're planning a smart building project, campus, city, district,
some of the best
you're going to have some of the best best in class there. Just to be able to walk in and talk to these folks, you can squeeze in a lot of education in a very short period of time. So,
and I'll finish with, and we got surprises that we're intentionally not telling you. We're going to continue to play around with this hybrid experience to have some fun, see if it works, and also to let everyone in on our experiment, because it's going to have an impact on office, on multifamily, on retail. This is not going away. Real estate and technology are coming together from an experience standpoint, from an operation standpoint, from a transaction standpoint, and we're excited to be able to offer this. So with that, Howard, Lisa, and I are going to drop out. You're going to do very quick news, and I'll come back and wrap the show.
Okay, happy to do it. Thanks, Jim. So I have a couple of news tidbits for you this week. So it's been over 2 years since Microsoft started modernizing their East Campus in Puget Sound, and they've made some phenomenal projects. Here's a couple of fun facts. They completed more than a third of the geothermal wells from Thermal Energy Center. 48 miles have installed so far. Campus underground parking garage, probably one of the biggest structures in the world, 3 million square feet spread over 4 levels. Central catering connected to every building on campus through a below ground service corridor spanning a mile. They'll do 4,000 meals every week in the 140,000 square foot back of house area. 3 million pounds of concrete, carpet recycled so far. Reusing harvested rainwater in flush fixtures and low flow systems, saving over 6 million gallons of water annually. Their Redmond Technology Station bridge is connecting East and West Campus, 1,100 feet long. Will serve thousands of people every day. And here's the fish story. They achieved Salmon Safe certification, which means the whole campus is verified that their construction processes are protecting the aquatic species in nearby waters. So if you're with us at Realcomm, you're going to hear a lot more about this incredible smart campus project from key Microsoft executives that made it happen. Next, I want to shout out to this week's tech partner, Real Foundations. So it takes a lot of administrative and technical resources to effectively support your property ERP, whether it's Yardi, MRI, JD Edwards, or others. You got to do asset portfolio onboarding, user provisioning, deprovisioning, maintenance, system module upgrades, administration, workflow approvals, invoicing, payments processing. Got to do report reconciliation, scheduled tasks, automated report generation, end user training, and process documentation. Now you can do this with in-house staffing, or sometimes the vendors will provide support, but the other option is use external managed service firms like Real Foundations, a company that has the depth, breadth, and experience to handle global projects in all aspects of real estate operations and back-end functions. Thanks, Real Foundations. And finally, close up. VTS is in the news again with the acquisition of Toronto-based Lane Technologies for $200 million, according to the Wall Street Journal. This is one of the biggest deals in PropTech history. And with this deal, VTS is set to combine Lane and VTS Rise in the world's largest office app firm. After closing, they'll be present in more than 1,400 buildings across the US and Canada, with major landlords like Brookfield, Oxford, Starwood, and RXR. So I'm going to close that down. That's it for me today. And check out our weekly news briefing. We'll see you all next week.
All right. Howard, I apologize for the speed test, but great job. So all of you try to get some sleep this week, right? Coming down to the wire, about 1 million details. Great team, though. I'm confident everybody's going to do a great job. Yeah. And next week, Lisa, you mentioned the Digis a little bit. Next week, we are going to be actually talking about the Digi Awards, but specifically the Lifetime Achievement Award. In 2020, we gave out 20, catching us up for the 20 years. And then every year after that, we give out, and this is the award to somebody who is, I think we got a whole list of criteria, 20 years in the industry, failed, stood up, shared. We have a whole bunch of criteria, but we're going to have Don Goldstein, president of 5Q, Maureen Ehrenberg of Blue Sky, and Ted Malucci of Smart One. These are all past winners of the Lifetime Achievement Award, and they're going to talk about what it is to have a career in this industry trying to use technology to make the built environment better. So I'm excited about that show. And we are out of time, so we're going to go right to close. And I just appreciate both of you being on today and for all you do. And we will see each other soon.
Thanks, Jim.
Thanks, Jim.
Be well, everybody. See you next week.